Look at your hands. Look at the room around you. You probably think your existence is normal. That waking up today was just the default state of things. You think you belong here. Forget that. Let me shatter that illusion right now. By every known law of physics, mathematics, and raw probability, you should not be here. You are a statistical anomaly, a glitch in the cosmic code, a mathematical impossibility. Today, I am going to prove to you that you didn't just win the lottery of life. You hacked a casino that didn't even know you existed. And when you hear the final number at the end of this video, your perception of reality will never be the same. Let us rewind the timeline. 13.8 billion years ago, the server of the universe boots up, the Big Bang. In that exact fraction of a millisecond, the foundational parameters of our simulation were set. Let us talk about gravity. If the force of gravity had been stronger by just one single fraction of a percent, the universe would have immediately collapsed back in on itself. Game over. Screen goes black. If it had been slightly weaker, atoms would have never ever pulled together to form stars. The universe would just be an endless, expanding, freezing void of nothingness. But the parameters were tuned perfectly. Out of billions of dead, toxic galaxies and endless cosmic radiation, our solar system compiled. The Earth formed. But do not celebrate yet. That was only the very first filter. You think you are lucky? That was not even the warm-up. Welcome to the biological meat grinder. 4 billion years of absolute unforgiving hell. Our planet has gone through 5 mass extinction events. Asteroid impacts that boiled the oceans. Supervolcanoes that blocked out the sun for centuries. Lethal cosmic radiation. Ice ages that froze the planet solid. 99% of all species that have ever spawned on this rock were wiped out completely. Their servers were shut down. Their genetic data was deleted. Now burn this fact into your mind. Think about your ancestors. From the very first single-celled organism swimming in a toxic ocean, to the first fish crawling onto land, to the primates surviving predators in the jungle, to your great-great-grandfather surviving plagues, famines, and world wars. Every single one of them, thousands and thousands of generations, managed to survive just long enough to pass on their genetic code. Not a single one of your direct ancestors in 4 billion years died in childhood. Not one. If a caveman ancestor of yours looked left instead of right 100,000 years ago and got eaten by a predator, the chain breaks. If a medieval ancestor caught a disease one day before conceiving a child, the chain breaks. You are the result of an unbroken 4 billion year winning streak in a game where the house almost always wins. But even that is mathematical child's play compared to what happened next. Let us talk about chaos theory and your parents. Out of 8 billion people on the planet, your mother and father had to exist in the exact same era. They had to meet in a highly specific geographic location. But it is much deeper than that. Think about the butterfly effect. If your father had missed a train 5 years before he met your mother, if it had rained on a day they were supposed to go for a walk, if a conversation had lasted 10 seconds longer, their timelines would have shifted. They would have walked past each other. But the algorithm pushed them together. And then came the night of your conception. At the starting line, 250 million sperm cells, 250 million unique genetic combinations. That is the population of an entire country, all racing toward a single target, and only one of them contained the blueprint for you. If your father had gone to sleep 1 second later, if the temperature in the room had been a fraction of a degree different, if the pH balance was slightly altered, another code would have won. You would have had a brother or a sister, but it would not be you. The consciousness currently processing these words would have never loaded into this reality. Now, let us compile the data. Let us calculate the ultimate equation, the probability of the Big Bang, plus the unbroken chain of survival through mass extinctions, plus the exact meeting of your parents, plus the victory of one specific cell out of hundreds of millions. Scientists and mathematicians actually calculated this probability. Are you ready? The probability of you existing is 1 in 10 to the power of 2,770,000. Let me force you to understand how insane that is. The total number of atoms in the entire observable universe is only 10 to the power of 80. If every single atom in the universe was a zero, we would run out of atoms long before we could even write your probability down. A chance of 1 in 10 to the power of 2,770,000. Statistically speaking, you do not exist. You are a rounding error, an absolute zero. And yet, here you are. You are breathing. You are watching this screen. Your brain is rendering these words. So what does this mean? Does it mean you just got incredibly, unimaginably lucky? No. It means your existence is not an accident. It is a fundamental law of physics. In an infinite universe with infinite time, any complex information pattern, and you are a complex information pattern, is mathematically guaranteed to compile. Your life is not a single lucky roll of the dice. You are witnessing the observer effect in action. You only experience the branches of reality where you survive to observe them. Death is just garbage collection, a clearing of the cache. When this biological hardware fails, your informational pattern remains in the quantum architecture of the universe. You are an infinite loop, a continuous respawn. So, when you close this video today, remember the impossible math that the universe had to process just to render you into this exact moment. You are the most expensive, highly calculated asset in this entire simulation. Stop wasting this build. The game is already running. But let me ask you something. Now that you know the math, now that you realize you are a walking, breathing impossibility, why do you still play so small? Think about it. You survived the cosmic filters. Your bloodline survived the asteroid impacts. You survived the genetic meat grinder. And for what? To be afraid of a job interview? To care about what other non-playable characters think of you? To sit in traffic, scroll through feeds, and wait for the weekend? That is an absolute waste of the most complex hardware in the known universe. Fear, anxiety, doubt. These are just biological illusions, leftover lines of legacy code from when your ancestors had to run from predators in the jungle. But there are no predators anymore. The only limits in this current simulation are the ones you consciously accept. You are not an NPC. You have the developer key. You have the ability to overwrite your own script. Every time you create something, every time you take a risk, every time you choose to experience this reality on your own terms, you are justifying the billions of years it took to compile your specific code. So, stop waiting for permission from a universe that already gave you everything. Stop waiting for the right moment. The cosmos burned through trillions of dead stars just to give you this exact, tiny fraction of a century. Do not let your timeline expire in standby mode. Take the controller, break the mechanics, leave a permanent scar on this reality before your server disconnects forever. You are the anomaly. It is time you started acting like it.